wait for people to show up. I am going to give a little rambling intro, but the video itself should not be longer than 15 minutes unless when we do a quick checkup here, we find something that I'm not anticipating on finding. So we will do a quick update check as well before this video ends. Again, I just want to see if perhaps people will show up before I get into the actual topic here. I steered clear of this topic. I try to stay away from things that trend, and I try to cover where God kind of leads me. And thank you for being here. I am going to ramble just for a minute or two as an intro. People need to get into this video and arrive and stay so that they can understand what I'm going to be talking about. And now I started my testimony on another channel. I wonder if I can still invite somebody for a collaboration. I don't know. I'm going to have to try. I will tag my other channel. Anyway, I started this in 2018 after some alleged dreams, which I now know to be after more memory comes back, because that happens with these encounters, and I don't want to get into that because I've talked about all that. But I started this as finding out what a targeted individual was, and this is a dangerous topic. There are two reasons that I told other people not to borrow from my content. One, that's because God had led me to talk about certain things and the messages aren't supposed to be monetized. Two, a big risk comes with covering this topic as a whole because it all surrounds who is the identity of the Antichrist at this time. Sure, it looks like the apocalypse is being brought on by elites or people in control, but remember that God is in control at the very end. Nothing happens without his approval. So people are dying and have died because of these testimonies of targeted individuals. And it should be pretty obvious to anyone with eyes or who has researched the topic that this young lady was a targeted individual. Now, I know I say that there's a lot of actors on the screens, but please understand that there's good guys and bad guys in the media too. And when showing a story will help them meet their ends, if it will instill fear in other people, then they will air it. That's why they're airing stories about these missing scientists, is so that people stop talking about them. I took my original channel down when I started reporting on um, cellular engineers that were going missing and or being ended. One of them in an admitted pagan sacrifice between the years of 2000 and 2016, but really between 2010 and 2016. So that's the main reason I told people not to steal the stories from my channel, is because you have to understand the risk that comes with them. No one else has made the connection that I'm about to talk about, and this video will not be longer than 15-20 minutes, but I do need to allow for people to enter into the video um, so that they can understand, all of this. Now, this young lady, um, is very familiar to me, and I do not like all of the feelings of deja vu that are coming upon myself and other people regarding events of this current time. I think that Philip K. Dick had it right. We are in some type of time dilation, and I'll get to that in a minute. This young lady was not studying gravity propulsion, at least not in the way. Gravity doesn't exist in the way that they say that it does, but just like when I was teaching you about CERN and breaking down the verbiage of what they say, you need to do the same thing with these stories about the missing scientists. Because if you look, and this is why NASA looks like an even bigger muck up now, is because a lot of those people were already gotten rid of and replaced. Please stay and watch the whole video or you're not going to understand. This is very important. It seems sensational, um, but you're not going to, for your own safety and for the safety of the people that you love, you should hear the whole message. I apologize for Toby. He's back there playing and he has some phlegm buildup. That's something else that's common among targeted individuals is our pets get sick and or die, and I've had 2 already that passed last year. When you are a target, your animals are a target too. Just like this young lady talked about do weapons burning her, they do the same thing with your animals. And this is all angel technology that they brought with them from it is stolen. And this is why I still do the videos I do is because the technology originally came from the Most High. But understand that in this time, Satan's getting a lot of leeway, and the Antichrist is somewhat AI. AI is one of the beasts or attached to one of the beasts. And this whole pop culture right now, the time that we're in, it all relates to the Antichrist or the Daji, these the Mamdi, all these villains that the other teams talk about too, not just Christians, and understand Trump is not the Antichrist. He has an Antichrist spirit, but he's very open about it. The Antichrist will be more charming, more suave. People will like him. Trump is like the John Baptist of the Antichrist. He is ushering in the Antichrist so that when the Antichrist takes his place, people will be appreciative. They will think that the end times have come to a standstill and have stopped. So when Trump does usher in the real Antichrist, it will be someone surprising because again everybody will think, oh, he's charming, he saved us from Trump. This all sounds very good. Now I'm going to get into the meat of this story. I gave people a chance to know what I'm talking about if they want to come back and hear the rest. um you cannot keep allowing for the channel to be suppressed because again it puts other people in danger. Now I'm going to read to you real quick to catch you up on who this young lady is. Amy Eskrich. She's a 34-year-old aerospace researcher, allegedly, and co-founder, and I'll get to that in a minute, the alleged in a minute. Again, this is what the system is giving us. I don't know if that's what she actually did. She's definitely a TI. I'm a TI, but I don't work in any of those fields, but I'm very close to the Antichrist, and God gives me things to see, and I had these encounters with these other beings starting in 2018. So when I say alleged, they can tell us whatever they want when somebody's gone, okay? Um, but let's get into it. She's Amy Eskrich, a 34-year-old alleged aerospace researcher and co-founder of the Institute for Exotic Science. She died by ending herself in June of 2022, big year for the Antichrist, in Huntsville, Alabama, after working on experimental anti-gravity propulsion technology. Her death is frequently cited as the 11th case in a cluster of deaths and disappearances involving U.S. scientists with access to sensitive government research, a pattern that has prompted an FBI-led investigation. While Eskridge's father and official report classify her death as, self-deletion, conspiracy theories and some associates allege she was ended or targeted by Jews, directed energy weapons. We've seen these are used in crowd control too now. Due to her work on advanced propulsion and UAPs, no official links have been confirmed. Now let me get to a little more on her real quickly because I want you to hear a couple of her quotes. Now this is one of her quotes. I will get to that in just a second. This is from Daily Mail. The link is in the description box. UFO linked scientist. And again, UFO is not what they say it is. They're gonna try and spin the stories though the way they want. But again, we have helpers here too. So truth is getting out. A scientist experimenting with anti-gravity tech was found deceased at 34 after warning that her life could be in danger. Let me be clear. I have no desire to harm myself or anyone else. This was one of those videos where I got the stomach ache beforehand and I knew I had to talk about it, but I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to get into this. It's something I've been looking into on my own, and you guys should be thankful I'm so addicted to pop culture because I haven't heard anyone else make this connection yet, and it's very obscure. But she is connected to the time traveler who we see with the alleged police body cam from Area 51. And I'll get to that in just a minute. Uh, it says self inflicted, uh, and it matters what she did it with. It actually does because of the story of Nathan the time traveler. She ended herself with a pew pew in her dome in Huntsville, Alabama. That matters. 6/11/2022. So you have 6/11/22. That's a big thing. However, neither the police nor the medical examiners have publicly released any details. None. Um, because she might be an actress. They might just be putting out this story again to scare and intimidate other people. I know her. And again, I don't like the feeling of deja vu that covering some of these current stories bring me. I don't know if it's from a cheap movie, found footage, but the way she talks in the one of her videos where she's only breathing in through her nose and she's not like she seems like she's on a substance or something's wrong with her. I know her and I don't know why. And her photos, usually around her nose, and that's where they do it, the nose and the mouth. She's got some type of AI happening, and I don't know why. But I wanted to point that out to you guys. So she was openly researching and trying to develop anti-gravity tech, a way to control or cancel out gravity, which could revolutionize space travel and energy production. And again, the Antichrist is very into pop culture and movies and movie scripts and cartoon scripts and using these scripts in our current media to flood the media so that we don't actually know what's happening behind the scenes. And behind the scenes, what's happening is persecution, and they're ending people and they're feeding people to people. Like, it's bad behind the scenes, but everybody wants the bread and circus, everybody wants the stories, but nobody's understanding. Again, she was obviously on some type of substance when she made this video, and most of us understand that there is no outer space. We're all inside of the firmament. You can't have a rainbow without a firmament. We all learned that in science class as children. This should not, it's a non-negotiable at this point. It's just a non-negotiable. All right. So we're going to get into how her and this other guy are connected and a couple of her quotes, okay? And so, and again, this video is not going to be super long, but I want to make sure at least a few people see it so that the butterfly effect can take effect. And again, people monetizing the messages, you have no idea what you're actually signing up for. You don't know what's going on. You just don't. Most of us don't. I only know bits and parts. This person only knows bits and parts because God always warns people. A lot of us didn't need other people's prophecies. I'm looking back now at prophecies that were uttered in the 80s and 90s and finding out that my experiences match the prophecies from the 80s and 90s. So God is talking to a whole bunch of us, chosen ones, targeted individuals. And I know there's people pushing you to the chosen one category in videos. The way those videos are mass marketed should be your first clue to steer clear of them. There is an agenda behind those terms, the chosen ones. Look into Russ Dizdar. I'm not saying you're not chosen by God. I'm not saying I'm not chosen by God. I'm saying that specific algorithm I would steer clear of. You don't want to be in that space, especially if you're weak, because they are attempting to, hijack people's minds in that area. So, um, she's known for saying, if you stick your neck out in public, at least someone notices if your head gets, chopped off. If you stick your neck out in private, they will bury you, burn your house down while you're sleeping in bed. That's why the Institute exists. People started sabotaging us, harassments, threats. It's awful. And she also made this quote: disclosure is going to come out of Huntsville, Alabama, out of Redstone. She further characterized the location as the biggest mucking deal that you've never heard of in reference to its significance in aerospace technology and national security. Now, we're going to go to the other story. Um, Real quick though, it's funny that she said that because I said the same thing. I said to my aunt when all this started, she said, "Well, why are you going to go back there if you think certain things are happening?" Well, A, my children, and B, I said, no one's going to hurt me if I'm still doing videos and I'm shining a light on myself and I'm right beside this person. I said, the second I leave that person's side and he's no longer responsible for whatever happens to me, then that's when they will try to, harm me. These videos need to get out, these connections. Now, again, they might be using actors, they might be using partial fake stories, but they're telling us this for a reason. Certain things are getting out for a reason. Certain connections are not being made, and I'm going to show you one of those connections now. But I will say also, it's very strange, isn't it? You have BlackRock, you have Blackstone, both of those are portfolio companies allegedly, and now you have Redstone being mentioned a lot. Interesting. I think that's interesting. Okay, so let's go to Nathan. How is Nathan connected to Amy? Nathan, who is he? A viral unverified body cam video, okay, unverified, just pay attention to that, circulating online depicts a man identified as Nathan. He actually looks like the guy who sold his channel. He moved right next to Area 51, bought the only plot that was left, said he was a TI. I don't believe him because he got a lot for his channel. It's called Explore With Us. When it used to be him and his daughters and wife exploring, then something happened to his wife. He was very funny with his oldest daughter right on camera, and then went away for a while. They sold the channel. They started doing a couple uploads, but then now all they show on that channel is missing people. But that's who this Nathan looks like a little bit in the face. So again, even if it's stories they're putting out, I know for a fact because of how many of us are being warned and because of other things that we're seeing, like the diet changes people are making and the lifestyle changes that people are making. um, God is working. This is not just the devil or Satan or his minions or the Antichrist. But understand that these stories might not be real in the way that they're presented. So this is why we have to have media literacy. So Nathan is an unverified detainee. He was detained by Lincoln County Sheriff's deputies after trespassing on the Nevada Test and Training Range near Area 51. During the January 2026 incident, Nathan Conley claimed he was accessing a, quote, time dilation facility. This is where the connection comes into play, and it's very obvious. And he suggested that he was experiencing time loops rather than traditional time travel. And I've been talking about being in a time dilation since 2019. That's like the phrase keeps popping into my head, my own head, right? Nobody else. And it matches up with what Philip K. Dick said. And again, I know people say, well, oh, this person's of the occult or that person. God is going to use whoever he wants to use to deliver whatever messages he needs to deliver, even to unbelievers. Not everybody reads the Bible. So this is how God will also reach people that have never read scripture, is through pop culture, is through events taking place around them in their own families. I hope that makes sense. Okay, he says this is part of a time dilation facility, and we are experiencing this now. He insisted the phenomena involved reliving moments repeatedly. And as I said, I do not like the sense of deja vu that this woman brings to me. She actually looks a lot like my son's girlfriend. Um, Credentials. He presented, now check this out. This is where you get to the connection. He presented multiple identification badges linked to NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center and Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama, which security personnel dismissed as fake. Interesting that he was detained at a training range a lot having to do with weapons, no? And he had a badge for Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, where Amy Eskridge said that disclosure was going to come out of, and that it's the biggest mucking deal that you've never heard of. Redstone, Huntsville, Alabama. That is the connection. I promised you 15 minutes. We're at 20 right now. Real quickly, I'm going to dip into Reddit because it's already up here. And I want to see if there's been any updates to his story. Although I don't know if I expect any. I just want to check. I did a video on this by itself as well, where we went over this post from Reddit about Nathan, not even probably a month ago. So if you want to check that out, I will try to remember to attach it. I've got a busy house day myself doing things with the dogs and whatnot. Okay, so there's also mention of him having a Huntsville hospital note and referencing military command structures. Then he shows up at Area 51. Okay, hold on. They couldn't find a confirmed last name, but he claims to be a physicist working in areas like time dilation and theoretical physics. He said he was associated with NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center and Redstone Arsenal, both real places in Huntsville, Alabama. There's also mention of him having Huntsville Hospital. And now here's the crux of the matter. As I told you in the beginning, as I've told you with Stern on the Bree and Jen channel, how they've targeted me for having encounters and searching out information and understanding what's happening to me. They don't want that. They don't want people like me talking. Um, sit down. Sit down. I'm almost done. Again, this topic itself has given me a lot of anxiety, and I'm not even sure exactly why. Um, Huntsville hospital note referencing military structures. Then he shows up near Area 51 talking about time dilation anomaly, and he ends up getting detained. Okay, now I'm gonna just see if there's any updates here. I don't think, doesn't look like there is, but let me change it to newest. Oh, comment deleted. They deleted my comment too. I made a comment saying nice catch to this person because they are the only other person, whatever, that I saw connected, and they deleted my comment. They have been scrubbing me from places like Reddit, Quora, Facebook, Instagram, even my own life. They want to get rid of anyone who caught on to what they were really doing, because understand, this is all a wheelhouse, and there's a lot of moving parts to make the one wheelhouse work. There's a lot of spokes, all right? There's a lot of micromanagement that happens so that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. Amy wouldn't maybe have known what the next person was doing, even though they knew each other. They didn't know what they were actually working towards. It never had anything to do with propulsion. It always was about time, because as in Daniel, we are told the Antichrist tries to change the times and the season. But God shortens the days for us so that we don't have to keep enduring this. And this is probably why this Groundhog Day, I've been saying this for so long, it's like this Groundhog Day thing. And that alleged fallen angel that I met, he would say that. He'd say, well, tomorrow's a new day, just like Scarlett O'Hara. Every day is a new day. And that's what the Antichrist thinks too, is like, you don't remember anything that happened prior. Well, he might remember his grudges and hold them for us, but he wakes up and it's another day and there's nothing learned. There's no cumulative thing. Does that make sense? Every day, and again, this fallen angel person said that to me. He's like, every day is a new day. Every day it starts again, or something bizarre to that nature. And I've had this doom like deja vu since all of this started. I have no desire to harm myself or anybody else. I've not seen anyone else make this connection. My original channel was called Berean Jen. They're using all the content that they stole from that channel right now to monetize it and make videos and content farms. They want to just saturate things, right? And now they want to intimidate people. They want you to know that this is what will happen to you if you persist. I'm not going to stop. This is who I am. I might die on this hill. And if I do, well, I'll consider that I have fought the good fight. I'm actually in a lot better shape than myself and a lot of other people thought I would be at this point because I'm still here and I'm still standing. And you are too. And that is something to not get your head in a twist about, but to definitely understand that you are under divine providence if you are still here at this time and you are still wanting and trying to be, you believe yourself to be a child of the Most High Creator, Maker, Fabricator of this realm. But again, they can make it look like the end times if they want. The people that you see represented on the screen, they usually aren't the actual individuals. Those are proxies because they had to let the Antichrist grow up and they had to let certain things happen. They don't want you to see their faces. Would you want people to know what you really look like if you were a bazillionaire? No, because that's too much risk, right? They could kidnap you, they could do anything at that point. So they use proxies to hide their real countenance, their real image. And this is why he makes us worship the image of the beast. I also don't like the fact that the Pope's seat is called in place of Christ. That is probably where the AC will set himself. He will take the place of the Pope and he will set himself right in there. And I'm probably extra sick because of a certain person's visit from across the pond this week who is here. So the Antichrist is not Trump. The Antichrist is not Elon Musk, although they make good bedfellows. That's not the Antichrist either. The Antichrist is a royal who is not a royal, a king who is not a king, one who usurped the real king. Might be J.D. Vance, might be Ramaswamy, but whoever it is, it's one of the alleged royals. But again, the faces that they show you, that's not really who they are, okay? Now, they usurped the throne many, many years ago after the Bolsheviks. Check into that if you don't believe me. And I think that's why I have so much problem with them. It's a bloodline issue because my family's from France and right where the church started and right where Mary Magdalena persecution found her again once she was across the ocean, the pond. Anyways, that is it. I want people to be able to access this video and I want it to be user friendly. I'm actually on the trail of a few other clues and a really good book I was hearing about on Art Bell today, and the book is $181. This woman allegedly names the Antichrist in this book and talks about a lot of different prophecies happening. She was very close to Malachi Martin. Her name was Kathleen Keating. Her website is down. Nobody knows where she went after she wrote the book. I haven't found anything yet. So that's what I'm looking into next. You guys have a blessed day. Check into the links that I will provide below. And check into the previous video that I did on Nathan, the alleged time traveler. I don't know, my head's wanting to go to a bouffant, this whole like 60s era thing. Like I might be done with it. Which is really weird too, because back in 2007, I was split from the father of my children. We weren't married. I was the provider. And this other person that had gotten close to me at that time kept bringing up JFK like often and said that he had dreams that he was JFK and I was his wife. And he was also in the military. And he also had blue eyes. Strange times. You guys have a blessed day. If you have anything to add, please do. I'm tired of being oppressed. And again, I when I figure out where I know this face from, I'll let you know. But she looks a lot like my son's current girlfriend, and that whole the way she talks, where she's that whole thing. I've seen that before. And again, that's a reptilian thing. They don't like you breathe mouth breathers. Why? Because breath of God, breath. not your exhalation from your nose, your breath. We read about that in one of the extra canonical gospels. That's why they cover it too, because God's breath, Jesus's breath when he went down to hell, smelled sweet. They don't like the smell. This is why they'll tell you all the time, breathe through your nose, mouth breather, blah, blah, blah. Yes, she is pretty. And you should know who she is at this point. And it's funny how y'all give yourselves away, man. You guys have a blessed day. Later.